You can't hold me down. 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 You can't hold me.
All right, guys, I decided that I'll come in here and talk about one of the biggest things that I've had to deal with in my adult life. And I can't really say it's from real estate or anything, because I actually felt like I noticed it a little bit before that. But the hardest part that I've dealt with is that over time, people start looking at me as being rich and even greedy. So I've actually, I've dealt with a lot of bullshit from people. Before I get into this, I want to give a little background, because I think my background also makes it more amplified, makes it worse for me, because I had a very, 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 very rough start. Ever since I could remember, my parents were always doing drugs. I think in the early 90s, my dad had actually broke his back and had a disc taken out, and he worked at Orstland's Farm and Home. A crate actually fell over on him, and he broke his back. And he pretty much got screwed. They ended up settling out of court for like $20,000 and his medical cost, which is just crazy, man. He pretty much has been pretty much broken since then. So what happened is, ever since then, he's always worked really low-wage jobs. And not saying that you can't make it on those wage jobs, because you certainly can. You know, I've started there and built myself up. I see other people doing it, so you definitely can. But his main thing is that I think he was in a lot of pain. So, and even then, before then, I remember him smoking weed and stuff. But I think the drugs started playing a lot more part in his life. And eventually, you know, they're growing marijuana, they're selling marijuana. We moved around all over the state of Missouri. He got busted several times there, so he actually moved us to Iowa, because my mom's sister lived here. And pretty much, you keep on shitting in your nest. You know, you got to keep on moving from your nest. So anyways, he came to Iowa, and we moved around here the same until, I don't know, I think we were about the last week of 6th grade for me. We landed up here in Fairfield in a pretty much run-down double-wide trailer in a trailer park. And then we pretty much stayed there majority of the time. While we were in high school, my parents had several drug busts and other crazy stuff that happened. I mean, for example, there was a stabbing in our front yard over a bad coke deal. Me and my two brothers were all both taken out of the home at first because of my parents. Then later on, we got taken out of the homes for our own bad judgments and stuff. But, you know, when you're growing up, and I totally understand why people in the big cities and, you know, homes without the father figure and drugs and stuff. I mean, the kids, when they grow up, it's very difficult to get out of that lifestyle. You know, when you don't have food, even though your parents get food stamps, you know, it's going into drugs. I mean, they're finding a way. They're finding a way, I'm telling you. The kids many times still don't get fed. So you have these kids growing up, and like, they're turning to crime. You know, they can't work. They're, you know, 13, 12, 10, whatever. Doesn't matter what the age is. They can't work. They can't defend for themselves. So they're stealing from the grocery stores. They're stealing candy, stealing food. Next thing you know, they're stealing from cars. It keeps on growing. Then they're dealing drugs themselves. They're doing tons of stuff. I mean, that's one of the main things. When I was in high school, that was one of my hardest things. Most of my friends and family were in the same boat. They were all having the same type of parents, all drugged out. Most of my friends and family were in the trailer court or somewhere close to that. Their friends and family were all doing the same thing. When I was in high school, it was so hard not to sell drugs. Most of my friends were. I just hated my parents at that time so much and I focused in sports. Sports is what kept me in school. At that time, most of my friends had already dropped out of school when we hit 9th grade. So I'm just trying to give you an idea of the background that I was growing up with, and I know many other people faced, and I think it was a little extreme. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there had it much, much harder than I have. Many of them did not make it, but there are some few that made it, and they're doing very good. They have good lives, successful. So don't think that you can't do it when I'm talking about this stuff, but I'm just saying it makes it a lot harder when that's what you're growing up in. You're not seeing the good stuff. My dad throughout high school was in prison. I think it was my sophomore year. My dad went to prison in Missouri, and my mom up and left when he got out on parole. And I'm there, and it's like four other teenagers living in our trailer. No one's paying our bills. So yeah, we were out doing illegal activities, paying our rent. I was still full-time in school. I still had 2 jobs at that time, working at Hardee's and Best Western as a housekeeper. I mean, it's a crazy environment. And my brothers were in the same boat. My older brother was already, he didn't finish high school, but he was out living in another trailer park, probably selling drugs, having all those problems. I think he just had a baby when I was graduating high school. My little brother was even probably worse. I don't even know where he was at the time, but I know when he was 14, my parents had him out in a garage in another town over making meth, So, I mean, it's a crazy lifestyle. So I'm trying to express what I'm talking about here. I mean, it's a crazy life. So, when I first started noticing this rich, greedy thing is probably after my first deployment. Up until then, I fit in, I wasn't rich, I wasn't greedy. I didn't have people always wanting to use me, take my shit, break my shit, ask me for money, ask me for loans. None of that, And even then, before I joined the Guard, I think I was able to save up like $3,000 doing odd construction jobs. And so, it was crazy. Didn't notice it then. But I got deployed, came back, and that deployment, after that first deployment, I noticed it. I had like several friends asking me for money. I even had my cousin, which was actually my best friend at the time, he ripped me off $900, and that was a lot of money. When I came back from my first deployment, I took all my money, I invested it in a duplex and also the shop. If you watch another of my video, I remodeled a shop into a house. I bought that shop, and I was completely broke, zero money, So I was already back in school and doing odd jobs and fixing up that duplex I bought. So then within a couple months, I actually went out to California for the Army, worked on a border fence, and then I got called up from there early because we got deployed another deployment. So I was only home for a year. 2 months into that year, I went and worked out on the California Border Patrol with the Army, and then I got called up. So our unit was only home for 1 year. Got called up for that second deployment. Once I got back from that second deployment, it exploded. It was insane. But anyways, I saved up like $23,000 from that second deployment, and I bought a fourplex and a duplex that were extremely run down. You guys, I'm showing some of them. I got most of them remodeled. I wish I would have started this video a lot sooner, because you would have seen me more struggle with them, struggle paying for the stuff. So anyways, after my second deployment, I'm back at zero money. No consistent job. I'm doing odd jobs. I went to college. I took my GI Bill. I invested my GI Bill in my fourplex and duplexes. They were run down, slowly remodeling the stuff. I had to buy a mower. I had to buy a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of tools, and I'm there working for free. And then I just started branching out, trying to do other stuff. But the thing is I had everyone and their grandpa and their aunt and uncle. They were just calling me, coming over, wanting me to help. Everybody had their hands out. And the very worst one was my brother. My brother, over the years, has been insane. So at the end of this video, I want to show you, I'm going to let you hear a message. But I've dealt with this for seriously like 10 years, where I really started noticing him. I noticed it right away after that first deployment, because in the fourplex and duplex, he was already a tenant there, and I came over to help him repair the roof because it was leaking. And I kept on saying, this roof, I mean, it was in bad shape. You're wasting your money repairing this, is what I was saying. And it all needed ripped off and a new roof put on. So I kept on saying, we need to talk this owner into having it replaced. Anyways, my brother, since he lived there, he knew the owner, and kept on saying that the owner didn't want these properties, that it was just, he was losing money on them and he didn't want them. And that he would sell them for what he bought for, so he could just make, because I think he had it for 6 years, so he would have got that little bit of profit, which I think it ended up being like $8,000 or something like that he was going to get paid. Anyways, we struck up a deal, and I was able to buy those properties. And that ended up being a huge problem with my brother living there. Immediately, for example, my brother wanted free rent, or he wanted his rent reduced because he was family. And I kept on telling him that these apartments, they were run down. They were renting all for $250, and I think his unit just had been updated a little bit, had a new fridge and stove put in. Let me think if there was, I think that's all that was put in, and his rent went up to $300 because of those new items. And let me think of what year this was. This was in 90, I think it was in 2009 at the very end of the year. So late 2009, almost 2010. So I think when I bought those. And that's what the rents were. And not only that is that they were so bad that they were barely staying rented at $250. So I mean, not only were they really cheap, they were cheap, but they were so run down that I couldn't even keep them rented half the time. So I was immediately already having, for example, right when I bought it, I had to replace almost all the water heaters. This place, I'm surprised that weren't condemned to how bad the water in the utilities room, how much leak there was from just the water heaters rotting out. There's 6 of them, for example, in these units, because there's a 4-plex and a duplex, and they were all leaking. So I had to replace all the water heaters and most of the water lines. And again, seriously, if I wasn't in school getting the GI Bill and the financial aid, I'm for sure these properties, I would have probably not been able to keep them. No way. I just don't see it happen. I think it would have been too much. I wouldn't have the money. Like, even with that money coming in from college, wasn't even enough. So it's like, it was crazy. So then on top of it, I had, everybody wanting to borrow loans. I gave my brother, Steve, for example, a few loans. And right away, I gave my little brother a loan, or he bought something from me, but I knew right away that for him, because my little brother, and I don't want to get too much into it, but like he always had that like attitude, like he's not gonna fulfill, and he's ripping people off, and you could see it like out there, like you could see that's the type of person he is. So for example, when he paid me back in installments, he pretty much decided that he paid it all, and he still owed me. I think it was like at like 20 or 40 bucks at the time, and I was just so mad. I was just like, whatever. I just won't ever loan to him. And also, it goes in more detail. I actually helped my younger brother out, and I moved into with a girlfriend because my little brother had a girlfriend, and they had a kid together with another kid, and they couldn't find anyone to rent to him because my younger brother has done some really, really shady shit with landlords and crazy. I'm not even going to get into it in this video, but he's not someone you want to rent to. So he was having such a hard time finding a place that I decided to move out and let him have my apartment, and I rented it to him for $250 a month. My taxes, insurance, and loan payment on that place was $500 a month. He was paying $250. My mom and dad were paying $250 now at this time. So I was just getting the loan paid off and the taxes and insurance paid. I wasn't making a profit. And on top of that, my dad and my brother did not get along. They were constantly fighting. Main reason is because I got my parents off drugs. They got off drugs. That was one of the requirements of my dad getting in that unit with my mom when he got off parole. I flat out told him he was going to quit or he could stay where he was at. He did. Before this, when he asked, I told him he needed to get off drugs. And he said that he's been on drugs since he was 16 and that he was even on drugs while he was in prison. And I pretty much told him to stay where he's at. I was done with it. When my mom and dad got busted with meth that last time, I told my mom if she ever got busted with drugs again, I was going to disown her. Because, you guys, for me to change my life, me to be happy and successful and start doing good things, I have to get rid of those people that are holding me down. And this is one of the hardest things I've had to deal with, is that most of the people that are holding me down and holding me back and keeping me in trouble, and sometimes it's me doing it because I have them there pulling me in, and those are the people I need to get rid of me out of my life, and it's been the hardest thing that I've been struggling with. So I told you I'm just going to be venting and telling you how it is. But anyways, my younger brother, during that time, I think he ended up staying there 2 years, And during that time, he always had this attitude towards me that I owed him because he was paying rent. You know, like I owed him that he was doing me a favor. And it annoyed me the whole time. And during that time, like I said, my parents, my dad and my little brother were fighting. So I had to like come in and separate the water. I had to separate, the electric I already separated. The water, I had also make a little thing so they didn't even have to pass each other to go inside. There's 2 different doors, but it's right beside the porch. So I had to like create it where it was 2 different entryways. Like, it was just a bunch of craziness. So, like, yeah, I don't recommend renting to family or friends. I had a lot of my cousins that were also doing the same stuff, into drugs, ripping people off. Good thing I've already was at that point that I didn't want to rent to any more friends and family, and I kept them out. But they were all there asking, you know, since I'm doing the remodeling myself, and I was doing a lot of jobs on my own for other people at this time, and I had to buy tools. So every time I bought tools, even though I was struggling to buy these tools, usually I went to the job and took all that money and bought the material or equipment I needed for the next job. I wasn't taking a pay. So it was crazy that then I had all these other people that I worked with sometimes, or they had their own jobs, could come and always ask me to borrow my tools and my equipment. And what normally happened is that I would buy something, use it once or twice, and they'll use it 10 times, and it comes back broken or not usable, or I had to rebuy it, you know, and it wasn't me doing the damage. And this is especially true with my older brother. He, just a few years ago now, since I started traveling there for a little bit, so I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago, 1 year, my older brother did about $10,000 worth of damage to some of my equipment. And he acts, I'm not, listen to this. He acts like he still did me a favor, even though he tears up my equipment. Okay, so this goes more into it. After I bought the fourplex and the duplex, during that time, well, actually before that time, before I got deployed on my second deployment, I came back home. I had 2 weeks to get ready from when I went from California. I came back to Iowa. I had 2 weeks before I had to go and meet up with my unit and deploy with them. So during that 2 weeks, I actually came back and realized that my apartment, because I was still living upstairs, had all my stuff up there. And I realized that I had a leak up there, and it was ruining the closet and the living room, and it needed to be replaced. And at that time, I think I had $2,000 saved up. I called around, tried to get some bids. A bid came back at $6,000, a little over $6,000, and another one at $8,000. So I did contact them and ask them if they, I told them I was getting ready to deploy and that I had $2,000 that I would give down and then pay the rest in installment. They didn't even reply to me. They were done. I couldn't get anyone to do it. So I took the $2,000 that I had saved up and I decided, hey, I'm going to tackle this roof myself and bust it out. So that's what I did. This whole time, my brother was there. Like, because he came over all the time. He comes over and eats. Many times he doesn't have a place to stay, so he comes over and stays on my parents' couch. And so he's always there. So it's not that I'm hiring him, That's not something I was even wanting to do then in the very beginning. So I really tried to stay away from Steven. And that's his name. My bad. I didn't want to mention his name, but yeah. I tried to stay away from him from working with me, but he was there. He wasn't trying to help work. He was trying, at the first, he was wanting him and another dude to do it to get paid. And I kept on telling him, no, I'm going to do it. That's why I'm going to, I can do this shit, So finally he said that he wanted to help. And I said, no, I'll pay him if he comes over to help. Otherwise, me and my dad was going to do it. My dad was just going to hand the materials up to me. I was going to do everything else. But anyways, my brother talked me into letting him help. And this extremely annoyed me. What ended up happening, and it took us 2 days to tear the roof off. I had to resheet it, and then I put Endura on. I think he showed up on, so actually it took us 3 days. He only worked a day and a half. So he showed up pretty much after me and my dad already had it, the shingles tore off. And he showed up when I was putting the because I also put new OSB board down. And he showed up then, and when we got up there, he started acting like he was scared of heights and didn't want to move. So what ended up happening is that my dad handed the wood up to him, and he handed it to me, and I drug it around the roof and nailed it in, put everything in place. I did pretty much everything up on the roof, and I installed the whole roof, everything. My brother was there and maybe did $150 worth of work. I went ahead and paid him $700. And he still argues with me on this because during this time, he doesn't have a credit card, it doesn't have anything else, and he also wanted some DeWalt batteries purchased. So what happened is I purchased some batteries for him and took it off of what that pay was and gave him the rest of the money. And he keeps on saying the only thing he got paid was those DeWalt batteries. And it's like seriously, I just don't want to deal with these kind of people. But since then, I think he's done 2 jobs. I mean, we're talking about 15 years of me doing all this work on my properties, doing all this work on other people's properties. And that's only 2 things I let my brother do. Like, because quickly it turned into that he helped me and I owe him. He needed a loan. I gave him a loan. There was one time I didn't want to. For example, he wanted to buy this big truck, and it was a huge truck with a flatbed for cars that came out where you can drive the cars up. You could probably fit 2 on it. Huge truck for $3,000. I finally, he whined about how much he helped me, blah, blah, blah. And, I kind of wanted to help him. My problem was I didn't have the money to help him. I took the money I had saved up for the property taxes, and I told him, hey, I have taxes due in 3 months. Like, this $3,000 I'm loaning you needs to be paid back. I loaned it to him. It took him over a year to pay me back that $3,000. Those 3 months came, and I had to struggle. I had to really cut my costs down, man. I'm talking about living on, barely anything to pay my taxes at that time. I struggled like no other to get to that point. And just how my brother treats me, like he did me a favor, all the time, every time. He turns around, asks for another loan, and I gave him another loan since then. And it's just, over the years, it's just been getting worse and worse. Mostly when he starts just showing up and borrowing my tools. I go to use it, and it's broken. It just irritates me. It sets that anger, that fire through my whole body that I just want to fucking slap him, And then he sits there and oh, you made money off of it. This last time, I was supposed to go, I got a skid loader. I bought a skid loader, saved up the diet in a cheap one. Don't get me wrong, not a nice one. I can't even remember how much I paid for it. I think I paid $5,000 for it. And it burned a little oil. And I knew that, so every time I used it, I always check the oil and put oil in it. Well, anyways, he got a job tearing down this building that caught a fire, so he's cleaning up the inside. And he got me to come in the job to use the skid loader. So with the skid loader, I was going to charge $55 an hour. My brother was getting paid $10 an hour, and he was whining and just complaining and bitching that I was getting paid so much more than him to operate my equipment. And I decided, hey, you know what? And this is what he was wanting to do anyways. So he talked me into it, and I told him, fine, I'll rent the skid loader to him for $55 an hour, and I'll pay him $15 to run it, and I'll just go home. Because, hey, we're both going to make money. Well, what ended up happening is that he ran that skid loader several months, or several weeks, a good month, something pretty much hard the whole time, and never checked the oil. Blew up the engine. And one of the things that irritates me about that is I've had other vehicles that burned oil. I had a gyro. When I was younger, I had a little 3-wheeled moped, and it burned a little oil. What happens when you burn all the oil up? It stops wanting to move. It starts acting funny. Check it. Oh, it's oil. Put it in. Perfect. My car. I've had it for, I think I'm going on 10 years now. It burns oil. It does it. Every 3 to 6 months, I have to put a quart of oil in it. It just does it. When it gets low, the car will tell you. It tells you. It starts acting funny. You can start smelling it. My brother, on the other hand, I'm sure he noticed the shit was happening, but he didn't care. I've had other people tell me he's jealous of me, that he thinks I'm just a rich millionaire or something, and I just have all this money, I should be paying for him, that he actually sabotages my stuff now. So, I know this is a long thing, but it's a lot of detail that I need to get out. Like, I have people, even family members, that are wanting to see me do bad because I look like I'm doing much better than them. And honestly, this whole thing has been a struggle. You know, I'm hoping to finally get past that struggle while I start getting paid well. But up until now, it's been a struggle to get here. I still, even though now I think I'm getting all right a month, I'm still struggling because I want to invest. I want to grow. So I still make myself live on cheap. For example, for the last probably year, I've needed a new fridge, guys. Let's look at this. I'm using this little guy over here. See it? Can I get a new fridge? I certainly can, but I have a lot of other responsibilities and other things I want to invest in. Shit I want to do, so I'm fine with living with that little fridge because my money's going somewhere else. These other people, they don't know that kind of struggle because they don't do it. They might be struggling paying the bills, but they pay them. They got the extras. They going out to eat. They going to drinking. They're buying their drugs. My brother goes on vacation, and he's a homeless man. So it's like, it annoys me, you know, to see this stuff. Mostly when I see how much they hate me. It just drives me crazy. Finally, a couple years ago, my younger brother got into an argument, and I've already talked about this on this channel before, I think, when I was remodeling apartment at another house. But my brother and sister got into it, and this was right after I started letting my sister manage my rental properties, meaning she deals with the tenants. So she keeps them rented and deals with the leases, and also keeps the lawn care good. So that's what she does. Anyways, my brother and sister got into it. My little brother is retarded, so he pretty much said that he was going to get my sister back, and within 3 days, he had come over, broke into the house, and stole the rent money from my sister, from my room. Like, my sister my office was still in my bedroom, so my sister would come in and do all the business stuff there in my room, and she also put the rent money in there. Well, he only took half of it. My sister had them in separate envelopes. So rent. Well, he came in and took a little bit here, like $100 out of each. It came up to like $1,500 to $1,800 that he ended up stealing. Didn't take anything else out of he left half of the money there. Didn't take anything else. I had 2 computers there, expensive computer. I have an Alienware computer for my business stuff, and I had my personal computer. There's several other things in the house. Nothing else was touched. Nothing was thrown around. Nothing was thrown out of the drawers. Everything was perfectly neat. Everything was, the rest of the house, nothing. I had cameras up, one on the front of the house, so we know they didn't use the back door, and the other one was on the other one. And my brother, Willie, he already looked at the camera system and knew that he came up to the door and went in the doggy door to come in and take that money. My parents don't sell drugs, don't do any of that. No one comes to our house. No one. No one else would have had the balls to come up into the house and do that shit. So, it's 100% sure it's my little brother. Like anyone else would have tried that, they would have got caught on camera. There's no way that it happens like that. So, since then, my little brother is restricted. We have no trespassing order on him. He's not allowed to come here. And just the way he is, I'm never going to allow him to come here. If we want to be brothers again, we can go and hang out somewhere else. If he ever wants to hang out, I don't know. But for both of my brothers, personally, I don't like them on who they are. Like, they're both meth heads. They both want to rip people off and use them. My little brother has 4 kids with all different moms and doesn't take care of any of them. And that's where the issue arose from my little brother and my sister, is my sister takes care of most of his kids and does all the stuff that he should be doing. And my brother tries to use that, like, if you don't do this for me, you're not going to see the name of the kid. And that's what really comes down. Like, Willie always pawns the kids off on them when he has them and doesn't pay anything. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, let's move along. Now we're past that. Now we're with my older brother. My older brother, like, seriously, I already got into where we were going with that, but it just slowly got worse. Now we're even past the skid loader incident. I let him use my truck one time in my trailer. He was tearing down a house. I don't even know where at. But anyways, I guess it was in a field. And he rode, I guess he had the trailer all, and he went up through the ditch and blah, blah. I don't even know what happened, but I got it back. And I felt this severe wobble. And also it was a little louder. So I took it to the shop to see what was wrong with it. And he had bent the sway bar and something else. It was $1,800 worth of damages that I had to repair. And he just denies it. He said that wasn't him, that it must have been me. And this is where it pisses me off, is where I am loaning stuff out and people don't even want to take responsibility. And I already know he doesn't have any money. He never has any money. His money goes to drugs. So I wasn't even asking him to pay for it. It's just the fact that he didn't even say sorry about it. He didn't even take responsibility and say sorry. That's where it really got me. It really gets me when they want to cause me all this damage and not even take responsibility. Fast forward it. Now my brothers, for several years, started having hard problems of getting jobs. My brother goes out and rips people off. I can't even name, it's so many. For example, he would help these people own a storage unit. He'd go in there, file stuff, put it away. He hired my sister, and then he would leave and never even work, and times it by 3 and get paid the hourly wage. And he was ripping people off. That quickly came and gone. I just seen some of his jobs. I stopped wanting to work with him because he was just doing some of the repairs with some products that you don't use. And it's dude, that's only going to last 6 months. And my brother is simply I don't care. I'm going to get paid and move on. I might get paid to come back and repair it again. That's the attitude and the mindset that I don't want to be around. And now he's reaping what he's done. He can't find a job. No one wants to hire him. And it's gotten worse over the years. The last 2 places that I know of that he worked for, he started showing up and telling the owner how it's going to be. And he's been having problems. I think he just lost his house. A little town outside of here. He bought a house a few years ago with his girlfriend at the time. And he got 6 months to a year behind on the mortgage. And now he's trying to force these people to give him a loan. He's dude, give me a loan or I'm gonna fuck you up, And my brother's a big dude. I'll put a picture in down here to show you. He's a big dude. He's kind of crazy. He does UFC stuff. But I'm not kidding. The last 10 years, the last couple of years, that the meth is really starting to fuck his head up. It's crazy. He's getting crazy. My little brother, he's just as crazy. He can, hey, friends and family, if you watch this video and you know who I'm talking about, leave some comments in it. Let other people know that what I'm talking about is there. It's legit. My brothers are crazy. But that's how he started. He's always acting that way, man. And then finally, the last couple of jobs I took him on, my jobs where I'm letting him come and work for me, it's just, he did the same thing. He started showing up, telling me how I'm going to do it, or how this one really annoyed me. I went and did this job for, actually, our one of our foster moms. They lived out in the country, and they have a farm, and they have this junk ditch. And over the years, probably the last 30 years, they've been throwing metal and trash all up in it. So we were going to pull it all out and take it to the scrapyard. So I got the job, and even then, they even told me, she right away said she didn't want Wooly working for me at all. And she said, Steven, if he came out there, that I needed to keep him under supervision. So that just tells you how bad it is for them. So anyways, immediately we started having problems. Because now, this is also right after my skid loader got tore up, so I really would have liked to have the skid loader there to help pull the stuff out of this ditch. It's like a ravine. I don't even know, but everything's thrown down in there. So right now, what we were trying to do is pull some of it up with my truck. And one of the issues we had is I had a pretty nice truck, the one that he did some damage to. But yeah, anyways, it's pretty nice, and the tires are $200 a tire. And these tires aren't that bad. I think they were just recently new within 6 months. And he started getting all mad that I would only take it down so far, because when it goes down into the ravine or ditch where the metal is, you still had a bunch of trash and metal littler metal stuff up here that could puncture my tires. And I kept on saying, I'm not taking my truck and running over that stuff. And he kept on saying, we need to make some money, we need to do this. And I kept on telling him, Steve, if we run over something, that's $200. $200 of mine that I'd be losing. I ain't going to be out here pulling junk in this heat and work for free and have a tire go, because the tire goes bad when I'm losing $200 where I'm only making $100. It's not happening. And he kept on wanting to do it. And then he started going, well, why the fuck did you buy a nice truck if you're not going to work with it? It's because I didn't buy it to pull shit out of this thing. And it's none of his damn business. And the other issue we had is this is right in the mid of summer. Temperatures got up to 110 degrees. I also had my dad out there working for me doing this stuff. And he was getting where he was like probably going to have a heat stroke and shit. And I think we were averaging on this job, if you count the weight of what we were going to get, we were probably going to be anywhere between $10 to $15 an hour. And I finally said, hey, you know, it's not worth it for us to be out here working in this heat. When we're at that time, I think we were even only coming out, and because it was so hot that we were only getting like 6 hours worth of work in, because we'd come out like early, and then we'd sometimes, and it just wasn't worth the gas and all that. So I finally put my foot down and said, hey, we're not going to work until the temperature drops back down. So we're going to take a good, at least 1 week off. And he just started going off, starting to say, oh, I don't do the, inwood work, and like, I'm not used to working like, and just saying my deployment was a vacation for me, and just started like saying how I'm going to rip him off. And the reason why that also happened is at the same place, a field over, there was like 20 cars there, and I was also making a deal with the lady that I was going to buy the cars for, I think it was $100 or $150 a car, and I was going to use my truck and trailer to take them in as scrap. And I was going to use my truck and trailer, get the deal, put the money up front, and split the profit with my brother. Meaning, I'm the one that's taking a rip off. I'm getting ripped off. Because I'm investing my money up front, and I'm the one paying for the truck and trailer. So my brother is getting a sweet deal when I take it in after taking the $150 off the car and then splitting it between us. So this really started making me angry. This is the last time I chose to work with my brother. Like, it really, really irritated the hell out of me that he started doing this kind of stuff. So that was, I think 5 years ago, maybe 6. I have not wanted to work with him again. Like, I was done with him. And he's always trying to, like, this whole time, he's like, you're better at getting jobs. Like, you go get the jobs and let me do them. And I'm like, Steven, I'm not going to get no jobs and let you do them because you fucked them up. You don't. He's one of those people that he'll come in and do a job half-assed, and he'll go and get the shittiest materials that you can possibly get, probably used stuff, and put it in. And I'm not like that. Like, when I go do it, I know what it needs, and it needs whatever it needs, You put it in the right way. It doesn't matter, like, even if the customer wants something crappy, if you know it's gonna, like, for example, if you do a shower, they have that little particle wood that I see people do in shower. I don't put those in. Those things rot out within 6 months. Do not put those in. I don't care if they're cheap. I'm not putting them in. That's just how I am. I'm not doing it. They need to pay the money to do it the right way, or I'm not doing it. My brother, oh, he's right in there. He's like, oh, yeah. He'll put it in crappy, take the money and run. He don't even care. Like, and I just seen way too much of this with my brother, man. Like, he's crazy. Crazy like that. Nah. If you hire people like this, I'm telling you, you're just asking for problems. Just asking for problems. But, no, it does suck, honestly, guys. It really does. I wish he would get his head out of his ass and start doing things better. I don't like seeing him like this. But again, like, he's causing me a lot of problems. He's causing me a lot of money. He's causing me a lot of stress. And just the attitude that he always has, that he's, like, jealous of me and thinking I'm rich. And when he comes and starts tearing up my stuff, I have a problem with it. It really bothers me. So, just recently, finally, he's been coming over here. Last winter, for example, my parents let him move down here. They didn't let him. He just kind of started coming. He's pretty much homeless, guys. So he pretty much moved in down here. He acts like he's helping my parents, but my parents don't want to deal with him. They just don't know how to get rid of him. So he comes over. He'll do like $10 worth of work around the yard, and now you owe me. This is just how he does. And so he's been, since, he did like $10 worth of work, my parents has owed him like half the wood that they get. Like, also they've been going and getting wood. My older brother has just been taking more of the wood than what his share, way over it. And he acts like, because my parents owe him. And that's another thing my brother does, is that he's always guilt tripping them that they owe him for his shitty childhood. And is always like, you think, I feel like it's bad with me. I mean, he's probably doing it way worse to them. Like, it's crazy. I mean, we're adults now. We're fucking adults. Yeah, it sucks how we were growing up. Sucks totally. We had a shitty childhood, and it's directly their fault. But now we're fucking adults. He's a fucking adult. He needs to go take care of himself now. He has the opportunities to change his life and his behavior and how he's going to proceed to his life. Like, that's where it stops, Like, I forgave people. I'm done. I even forgive both of my brothers. I just don't want them coming here. They're both brothers. I may not like them, but I forgive them. But I don't want them coming here. My little brother, on top of him coming and robbing us, he was stealing stuff out of my garage and selling it. So, like, I don't want that stuff to happen anymore. And the only way I can keep that from happening is not allow him to come here. So recently, I think it was like 2 months ago, I decided I no longer want my older brother coming here. He keeps on coming, using stuff, and bringing it back and broken. I have also noticed stuff that I just can't find. Doesn't exist. And it's not my little brother, because he just got out of prison. So it wasn't him. It has to be my older brother. When he was living here, he was taking stuff out of my garage. And it's caused me a lot of issues with my sister. Like, my sister, and I understand how hard it is dealing with my brother. Like, he is just manipulating as hell, man. And, anyways, I gave her 2 rules when I left. And I was very, very, very direct on this. That my brother could not do any work for any of the rentals. I didn't care what it was. Nothing. Nothing. If it was something that she couldn't do, she needs to hire someone other than him to do it. If it needed done, I couldn't come here to do it. It needed to be paid for by a plumber or a construction person. It did not go to my brother Steve. I didn't care how much it cost. My brother was not to work on it. Number 2, Steven does not borrow anything. I don't care what the problem is. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's a $1 tool or a $50 tool. He does not use it. I don't want him using anything. Well, while I was gone, she knew he was using stuff, and she still says she didn't hire him to do anything, but she still used quite a bit of my stuff. And for example, the main thing I've noticed is that my paint sprayer does not work. There's $300 more right there, and it's a bunch of little things, like crazy stuff. I had a brand new drill. It's gone. Can't find it. I don't know where it went. And guys, I'm also one of those persons, I keep track of everything. And when I put things away, I do everything in a sort of way that I know if I'm the one that's last touched it. Like, I know when something's been touched. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Another issue is I had all my tools, this big shop that I have, I was wanting to rent it out, and I had all my tools in this shop, and my sister had one of her friends. I don't know if they were dating. My mom and dad kind of joked that they were dating. I guess he moved in here also in my apartment in this back room, and she let him live here. And him and my brother reorganized all my tools and moved it around, and we're using it out there. Cutting up wood. There was some guy that was coming over here even doing wood projects, and they were using my tools. So, like, this is extremely annoying. Like, my sister allowed my older brother that I did not want anywhere around my stuff, allowed him, I mean, he did it on his own, but my sister should have called the sheriff. Should have had his ass taken out. She let him move into my apartment with my personal items. She let a stranger that I don't even know move into my apartment. That irritates me. Like, seriously, there's other stuff on the management level of the business, and now there's personal stuff that my sister has extremely annoyed me with. And I'm hoping that we get it worked out, but I'm at the verge that either I'm going to take it over. the management over myself, or I'm going to go and get a realtor to do it. Because this stuff, I mean, I'm extremely annoyed. I'm like, man, like this has been just ever since I was a little kid dealing with these people. Like, my older brother has put me to the point where, like, I'm done dealing with him. I'm not dealing with it anymore. He's not allowed here, and I think it's also going to be forever. Again, he wants to call and says he loves me and thinks he's going to come back in here. Hey, brother, I love you too, but you're not allowed here. If you want to go to Pizza Hut, I'll pay for the pizza. We can sit down and chill, but you're not allowed here at the house. You know, this last time, I finally did blow up on him. You know, I blew up on him and told him what I thought about him. And he's like, you're disrespecting me. Dude, you've been coming over here for the last several years of my life disrespecting me. Using my shit, tearing up my shit, treating me like I'm some rich person and like I owe you. But recently, in the last couple of years, for example, I just got back from the Philippines in April. And I already told him, like, it's been years, I don't want to talk any business with him. No investment, no me going finding work for him. I don't want to talk about that stuff. I'm past that. Finally, he said that he was drinking and said he wanted to come over and drink with me, and we weren't going to talk about that. We weren't going to talk. He gets here, that's the only thing he talked about, is how I need to help him. He needs money. He needs help. He wants to go in business with me. He wants me to get him jobs, do all this stuff. He even went to the point that I needed to buy him a trailer and move it behind my house and take care of him. Like, no, not happening. But that's all he wants to talk about. For the last probably 10 years, that's all we ever talk about. It's him always talking about that stuff or about what I have. It's not me. You know, I do it on this channel because this is what this channel's for. But in personal life, most of the time, I'm telling people, I'm trying to help them with their stuff. You know, telling them, advising them. I know sometimes that might be annoying that I do this. But, like, shit. I don't know, but that's where I'm at. My older brother, by all means, I've had a lot of other people do it. I had several of my close friends do it, rip me off some money. Tons of loans. I don't even know if I added up all the loans that I gave out to some of my friends and family and didn't get paid back. Like, seriously, it's crazy. And now, like, seriously, I have a rule. And now I'm called the greedy asshole. I don't loan out my tools. I don't like loaning out anything. Nothing. Now it's different. There's a lot of times I'll go out and I'll work for a day for free for a friend, but they ain't borrowing none of my tools. I come and I work. And I don't ask for any money, but they ain't borrowing my tools. That's totally different. You see where I'm going with that? I don't care about wasting my day and not getting paid for. But once I have already invested in something, I need that because many times, I don't have the money. I have time. I don't have the money. Money is harder to get than my time. And honestly, I think my time is worth quite a bit because I'm able to do a lot of things. But friend and family, I'm okay with going in and doing it. There's been several people, and I also want to state this because in case some of those friends and family are watching this, there's a lot of friends and family that I have loaned money to and I have helped out. And they have been very thankful and they have paid me back. I just want to tell you guys, if you guys are watching, thank you. Because even though it might not look like I'm struggling, there's many times with all these costs. And it's way different. It's not that I'm behind $100. Most people, when they get behind $100 isn't crazy. Normally, I'm behind $1,000 to $3,000. So I might be able to cash flow a couple $100, but I owe this. I can work with, you know, hey, if you need a loan of $100, I can spot you that $100. But you guys aren't seeing that, hey, this month I owe this and I don't even have it. But I'm hoping by the end of the month I can get that money back and pay that. So believe me, for me to help you guys out, it's actually a big deal. So it's even bigger when I don't get paid back because a lot of times my money's borrowed or it's already gone before I get it. Like, it's crazy how some of this stuff works. And I know you just can't see it. And I understand, you know, when I get rental properties, I start buying all these tools, I'm doing all this work, you know, it just looks like I'm very successful. And honestly, a lot of it was because I was in college full time for a good 5 years. I got 2 bachelors done. But while I was in school, I was busting my ass working on my own rental properties and other people's properties. I was putting in plumbing in, doing stucco, doing drywall. I was doing other stuff in other people's house. And most people don't even realize I was doing that because I wasn't working for a company. I was working for myself. So maybe, I might work on my own stuff for like 2 weeks, and then maybe a week I go and work at someone's bathroom, remodeling it, and then I come back and work on my stuff while I was going to school full time. So a lot of people have this idea that I don't even work, that I just sit around and collect rent checks or something. Like, seriously, like, I'm very active. Like, I'm one of those people, I get bored, I go to work. Like, it's crazy. People don't even know I'm working. And another thing is that when people ask me to do something, since I work for myself, I can schedule time around it. My friends want to go do this, I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. And I cancel work plans. I work around it. So it's real. I had a few problems with some girlfriends on this. Like, seriously, like, I've dated some girls, and they just acted like since I was available to change my schedule around that I didn't work. And it's like, no, I actually do a lot of stuff. But since I work for myself, and I don't have an employer many times, or I'm sometimes working for other people, but I'm doing the job myself, they just don't see it as a job. So I find it very hard when I'm talking to some of my friends and family or some people I don't really know, that they just have this mentality that I just have money and that I don't do anything. So over the years, I've really had a lot of problems with it, and it's turned me, it's really made me a really salty motherfucker, honestly. I really get annoyed. I even had this with problems with tenants. Believe me, I've had a lot of problems when I'm the owner manager that's there. Whew! When I have a tenant tell me that they pay me rent, that I need to do this and this and this, sometimes I just want to slap them and say, you know what? Your $300 did not cover all the expenses for your apartment. It didn't. And what I'm doing to it now, for example, you have your toilet backing up. I just rented a damn auger to come over here and aug your damn toilet that you shit in and plugged it. I'm doing it for free. So it really, I'm telling you, this is one of the reasons why I don't want to be the property manager. I'll come and unclog the toilet. I just don't want to talk to the tenants. Because when they start giving me that attitude, I'm telling you, I get feisty. I do not like it. That's a whole different story. But I'm just saying, I've dealt with this with the real estate part of it for 15 years, and I come from a very shitty family. I've never made good money. I still don't make good money. So mostly with this political stuff about raising the minimum wage. Crazy. Why? Because I feel like I'm a business owner, and I don't even make a minimum wage. So it's getting there. It's getting kind of crazy that people want to start talking about this stuff. And that's a whole different story. But you can see where I'm going with this. I just wanted to vent. I think this is the worst thing that I've had to deal with. Mostly because, it's family and friends that are doing this stuff to me. And I didn't touch on some of my friends, but it's been, honestly, some of that, even though I have lost some money and haven't got paid back for some, I can take those as a loss and just not be friends with them. And yes, I'm not friends with those friends that have ripped me off. Do I hold a grudge? No. But I tell you what, they're not going to do it to me again. That's just the way it is. I hope, and honestly, one of them, I know for sure, I think he's doing good, and I'm glad. But the thing is I can't allow him to do it again. Like, he's the one that took that trust away. He's the one that ripped me off. I forgive him as a person, but I don't want him coming and doing it again. Same with my family, and the reason why it's my brother, it's the hardest because he is my family. He's close to me. He's been there ever since we were little, So for him to start doing this stuff to me, like, it's insane. It's the hardest part that I've had to deal with is actually making him not come over anymore. I can't allow it. And it's fucked up. It's fucked up that I have to deal with this kind of stuff. And then I have other relatives, distant relatives, that barely understands that I don't even talk to them, because a lot of times when I start talking to relatives that I don't really know, they hear, oh, he has rental properties. Can I borrow $2,500? I don't want to talk to them, they can stay in Missouri or wherever they're at. I'm not kidding how many people that I haven't seen for 10 years. I start talking to them. They add me on Facebook and start talking to me within an hour, asking for $50. Seriously, that's what I put up with. Not kidding. But anyways, I'm telling you, this has been the hardest thing I've ever had to do. You know? And again, like I said, when I have relatives, they start hearing about how I'm not, because my older brother and my younger brother start going around saying how I don't help them. I don't do this. No, I have helped them. I've done a lot of stuff for them. For example, my little brother, this is another reason why I don't like my little brother. Let's say his car breaks down in the next town over. I tell him, hey, I'll load up my trailer and I'll come and get you. I just want you to pay for my gas. My truck to go there and back, let's say it's $20. So I say, hey, I'll come and get you. Pay me $20 for gas. And he says, okay. I go there, get him, load his car up, bring it back, and he gives me $10. $10, and then he sits there and he tells me that I paid him for coming and getting him. He helped me. And I'm telling you, that's over 30 minutes to get there, 30 minutes back. My truck, my trailer, I had to load the car up. I don't think a tow truck person would have done it for under $200. And what I'm trying to say is I don't mind helping people. It's just how they treat me after I help them. I just don't understand how my two brothers can be this way. And Steven's the same way, my older brother. He does the same shit, but he hides it a lot different. My little brother, most people, they can just see him, start talking to him, and they know and most people, honestly, think my little brother is way worse than my older brother. And honestly, in a way, I think he is, but I have to say, no, not really, because you can kind of see that right up front. It's wow, this motherfucker's going to rip me off. I'm going to keep my distance from him. I'm not going to do some of that stuff. Because you can see it. You know right away he's going to fuck you over. So that's one of the things that you have with my little brother. You can see it right away. So you prepare yourself. My older brother, though, you can't see it right away. He gradually comes in, do a favor for him, do another one, and it just grows. The loans get bigger, or whatever is getting bigger. You're pulling him in, and then when it's too big, that's when he takes it and rips you off. So my little brother, he might be able to rip you off right away, $20, gone. He just fucked you over. You're done with him. My older brother, he comes in, oh yeah, he's doing good, and then he just comes in and takes 10 grand. Takes it. So who's worse? That's how I look at it, and that's how my two brothers are. Hands down. It's insane. Everyone, when they see Willie, they know, stay away from him. He's a bad dude. My older brother, I think most people are starting to see that now, and they're staying away from him. And I hate talking crap about him, but dude, it's been going on for so long, and it's true. It's true. I actually felt really shitty. I think this was about 4, maybe even 5 years ago still, because I started traveling, so I think it was right before I started traveling. I was at a bowling alley with a couple friends, and I met another guy that I kind of barely knew. I was kind of friends with him, but I think he was in my older brother's grade, and he had a bad attitude towards me because I was his brother, and he was talking shit about Steve, and, that's where I finally said, you know what? I agree with this guy. And he was still angry at me for some of the stuff my older brother did. And at that point, I realized there's several times throughout the year that I met people when I was out doing stuff at the bar drinking, and people were talking bad about my brother Steve. And I would stand up for him. And, it just started getting where I can't believe I'm standing up for this guy when, honestly, he is out there doing this shit. He is fucking people over. So, it's crazy. So, I don't know, guys, but I want to end this here. I know this video is probably already long. My phone probably already shut off on me. Let's see, it looks like it's still going. But, anyways, seriously, guys, this is, people think tenants, dealing with all this stuff, bad. Not having any money, yeah, it sucks, but what's even worse is not having any money, and then you have your family and your friends treating you like this, wanting to use your shit, tear up your shit, have your shit, want you to give them loans that you don't even have. Oh, almost forgot. where this really hit the fan is the last I came home 2 years ago from the Philippines, so not this last trip, but the trip before. Steven came over, and again, I told you guys he was losing his house, and somehow he kept it for a while, but he tried to force me into giving him a loan. And this is where it tipped. Seriously, I was so close on not having him come back over then, and I should have did it then. I really should have did it then. I should have never let it get to this point where it's here and that he moved into my apartment and started messing with my tools and all that. There, at the other house where I was renting my parents', he came over and kept on saying I needed to give him a loan to buy his house. And I kept on telling him, Steve, I can't give you a loan. First off, I don't have the money, and my bank isn't going to give me a loan for that. I have to go there and get a loan for it. It has to be worth what I'm getting the loan for, and it has to be making up money to pay the loan back. It didn't meet either one of those. First off, I think he overpaid for this house. It's out in a little town called Ollie. Nothing's going on there. It's about 20 minutes from here, maybe more. There's nothing going on. It's a small town. Like, I don't even know. When I say small, I want to guess like 500 people. And it probably isn't even that big. There's nothing going on there. And I think he owed probably what it's worth now. Probably it isn't that, but it's run down. Like, he's been living there with no furnace. Like crazy stuff. Like the house isn't up to code. Like it has a lot of problems. So I couldn't get that, and he can't rent it. Like he's already tried to rent it out there. Like he's getting some crazy people living out there, and he's like doing like, don't rent to this guy, man. He's crazy. But anyways, it got to where I told him his house wasn't worth it, and I couldn't give him a loan. I can't go get a loan, and he proceeded to want to fight me. He seriously got mad and upset that I would not give him a loan, and he got up acting like he was going to punch me. Like, seriously. That's where I'm at, is that he's trying to do the same stuff that he's doing to his bosses that he goes and works with. This is insane. Like, I don't want him around. So, I'm going to end it here. Happy New Year's, guys, by the way. This is one of my New Year resolution is the people that are causing me problems, I'm getting them out of my life. And believe me, when I got my younger brother out of my life, it was a huge stress. My parents stopped fighting more. But for some reason, once Willie got gone, my older brother stepped it up. And now I got him gone. The last 2 months, it's had been really nice around here. My parents are getting along better. I'm getting happier. I'm not going to see my tools get tore up. I'm not going to have him coming over here every day doing all this stuff. So my New Year's resolution is to be the asshole I know I can, and people that are messing with me, fucking me over, using me, I'm getting them out of my life. So, see you guys.
Hello? 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 I want to be able to come over and visit my mom. I'll keep my mouth shut about how you extort everybody for money and how you're fucking living off everybody and doing better than everybody over everybody else's money. Like, you got 14 fucking rentals. Motherfucker, I'm not jealous. I'm just saying, mom and dad help you more than everybody else. I just want some fucking help. Alright? I'm not jealous. I'm just saying, I need fucking help. I can't even visit my fucking mom now because you fucking, what? You're, like, you want to keep your stronghold on everything? What? Like, what did I do to fucking cause your fucking shunning me? I'll fuck up everything you fucking got, motherfucker. Fuck you. Let me visit my mom, or I'm gonna fucking go out, and you're gonna have to do more than swing a fucking stick at me, pussy. Hey, Justin, this is your brother. You know, I love the shit out of you, but if you ever try to fucking assault me again, I'm gonna beat the fucking piss out of you. What the fuck's wrong with you, motherfucker? You don't love me? What the fuck? I spent years of my life in prison to fucking protect your fucking rights. What? We're a fucking filthy kids, motherfucker. I don't know what the fuck your problem is, but if I can't just come out there and visit my mom, I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass. You need to fucking get your shit straight. I don't care if you don't like me, if you don't love me, what the fuck problem you got with me, but it ain't no fucking reason to shun me from the fucking family. I didn't do nothing to you, motherfucker. You need to fucking respect me. I'm your older brother. that we could just get along, and then I can come out and visit my parents whenever I want. I'm trying to keep quiet about what I think or what's going on in the world, but I just wish that like I could get shit straight, because this isn't okay with me that I can't come out and see my mom. Now fuck Dad. I don't give a fuck about that pussy motherfucker. I don't give a fuck about you either. This is bullshit. I fucking spent my life trying to fucking do good. And what? I talked a little shit, and now I can't come out there? What reason you got? I've helped you out more than what I've destroyed of your bullshit. And I don't tear shit up when I come out there. You're making excuses because I'm calling you out while fucking skating off everybody else. Look, I don't know if you're listening to these or what, but I just want to be able to come out and see my mom. And I'll shut up about whatever bullshit it is, whatever fucking, manipulation games so you can be on vacation for a few more years. I don't give a fuck what you're doing, Justin. I'm just mad that, you got rent for 15 years from these motherfuckers, and they haven't paid a dime on me. Right? Good for you, Justin. You got the money from these motherfuckers. I just want a relationship with my mom. I'll shut the fuck up about everything else. If you can't deal with that, then fuck you. I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass. I don't give a fuck about the law. Like, can't we just be friends? Like, fuck me, brothers. Can you just be my friend? Fuck, you don't love me? What the fuck? Fuck you, Justin. What the fuck, Justin? Aren't you my fucking brother? Like, I want to be able to, I don't know what the fuck, but I want to be able to come visit my mom. And if you're not okay with that, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do, Justin. You're my little brother, and I love you. What the fuck, man? You come up off all that shit. You know what? I helped you with the house. I helped you with your first property. And you're better than me because you didn't have a family. You didn't have all these other expenses. You could get some equity, and you could start extorting like 10 or 15 people for money. You know what? There's a bunch of people paying your fucking bills. I pay my own fucking bills, right? I just want to see my mom. I'm fucking tired of your fucking you egotistical bullshit. You either let me see my mom or I'm gonna knock your fucking teeth out. I'll drop all this shit and just let me see my fucking mom. I don't care where the fuck you live or how much property you think you fucking own. I'll fucking just...
End of messages.
Girl might want to see this.
He's gonna get his ass fucked. That's the boy does. He's gonna get your ass whooped.